Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I am Rockin Robbie Billups, and this is the weekly comic book review. That's right everybody, welcome to the weekly comic book review. It is the show where I read a lot of comic books, and I let you know what I think about them. But first I want to say real quick, give a shout out to our Twitter accounts. Be sure to follow us at Twitter at The PCP Show or at The Rockin Robbie. Preferably both. But definitely we are making a more concerted effort to be on Twitter. We got Dashing Drew Matson manning the PCP Twitter account. I'm on Twitter. So join us there and see what happens and join our community. That's really cool. But this is the weekly comic book review, and it's time to get to the comic books. And as always, we start with the pick of the week. And this week's pick of the week is no surprise. It's Mr. Miracle #1. Words cannot describe how fantastic this book was, how brilliant this book was, how ambitious this book is. This book, people that say they don't make good comic books anymore do not know what they're talking about. This is proof right here. Writer Tom King has done an amazing job taking a character created by Jack Kirby, who we are celebrating his 100th birthday this month in August. So this is a nice fitting tribute to Jack King Kirby from Tom King. That's kind of neat. This book was great. It takes the concept of Mr. Miracle and it really brings it into the 21st century and beyond, and into Tom King's very psychological type world. Really getting into some dark terrain here in a Mr. Miracle book. It is brilliant. The way it was laid out, the way it was told, the way it was paced, everything about this book was amazing. The artwork by Mitch Gerads is a revelation. It is beautiful, it is gorgeous, it is magnificent, and it is perfectly suited for the tone in this book. This is a perfect blend of story and art into one thing that is just absolutely miraculous. It's amazing, it's brilliant, it's so good. It's like the single best comic book that I've read this year so far. The single best single issue that I have read so far is this right here. This is like his vision to another level, probably. I hope so. It's going to be 12 issues. I am really pumped to see where this goes, because not only am I a fan of Jack Kirby's creations, I'm really a fan of Tom King when he does this type stuff. I loved his Vision book. It was my favorite comic book of that year. Mr. Miracle, wow. Wow, this is the hotness right here. You got to get Mr. Miracle. That's what I think about it. Speaking of Jack Kirby, let's talk a little bit about Jack Kirby. First of all, we got a Jack Kirby podcast coming up very, very soon, celebrating his 100th birthday here at Pop Culture Philosophers. So be on the lookout for that. Newsboy Legion Boy Commandos special. That's right, DC's doing a series of specials this month to celebrate the 100th birthday of Jack Kirby. And this is the one that I was looking forward to the least, because I don't really have that much connection to the Boy Commandos at all. The Newsboy Legion a little bit, mostly because of the Jimmy Olsen stuff that Kirby did. But this is also done by Howard Chaykin. I'm not the hugest fan of Howard Chaykin, so unsurprisingly, I didn't really like it that much. It just felt muddy. The artwork was sloppy to me. I just didn't really like it. Didn't speak to me at all. But maybe if you're a hardcore Boy Commandos or Newsboy Legion fan, you might want to check it out. Speaking of Jack Kirby, if you've never been able to celebrate the awesomeness that is Jack Kirby, Marvel's been doing these really cool True Believers. These are some of the ones that are out right now. It's Journey in the Mystery number 83, reprinting the first appearance of the mighty Thor, the first time Thor and Hulk fight right here, and the first appearance of Groot. All that is Kirby Classics and available for $1 right now from Marvel. Their True Believers line, I highly encourage you to check those out. Some other ones are out right now too. I think an Avengers one and a Black Panther for sure. Speaking of Marvel, the Second Generations book is out. So it's like the lead into Marvel Legacy. They are thematically telling us where these characters are going in Marvel Legacy. That is, to me, what this seems to be doing, especially 2 issues in. The Hulk really kind of explained that Amadeus Cho is going to start seeing the Hulk as a curse, as something that is to be scared of, to be afraid, right? And hearkening back to some of the Bruce Banner type stories. And this is basically giving us the idea that the Phoenix is going to be a big deal in young Jean Grey's future. And this story is all right. It's written by Cullen Bunn, who writes the Jean Grey solo title. Artwork by R.B. Silva. It's all right. The book is okay. It's not life-changing. Nothing major happens in here, just like the Hulk one from last week. Nothing major happens here, but they are giving you the themes and the directions that they are taking these stories in. And like Bleeding Cool pointed out in an article, basically it almost seems like what they're trying to do is take the classic feel and apply it to the new characters, but we shall see what exactly happens. But overall, it's all right. If you're a huge X fan, big Jean Grey fan, you're definitely going to want to pick that up, especially once you place where the past Jean Grey is, because it is basically young Jean Grey, who's the current Jean Grey, going back in the past and seeing Jean Grey when she was possessed by the Phoenix Force. So there you go. Secret Empire stuff this week. Secret Empire number 8 is out this week. But before you read that, you should read the Captain America number 25. That's what Nick Spencer says. I did so. Glad I did. This book is pretty solid. Captain America is now one title again. This is issue 25. It's really cool. It's kind of split right down the middle. The first half focuses a little bit on Steve Rogers. The second half on Sam Wilson. This is the turning point that I have been waiting for in Secret Empire. We had a big explosive beginning. I thought it meandered about a little bit in the middle of it, but now it's turning that corner and we're hitting the end part of the story, the final act, and this is a great setup for the final act by writer Nick Spencer. Artwork's all right in here, not really anything super glossy, gonna really super impress you, but it gets the job done. But this book was pretty cool, deals with some good themes that I've been wanting Secret Empire to explore, especially with what heroism means in the Marvel Universe in its own current political climate, super political climate actually. So that was pretty good. Read that before you read Secret Empire number 8. Continues the great start of the final act of Secret Empire. So things are starting to come together. The heroes are coming together. It's really, really cool. This story has not really focused as much on the rise of Hydra as I wanted it to. It kind of just, they rose and then status quo for a minute, it seemed. But now we're turning the corner, getting to the end of the story, and it seems like it's going to have a nice payoff. I hope it does, but this really kind of inspired some cool feelings inside of me, like 7-year-old Robbie reading Secret Wars reprints or, you know, old copies of it or whatever. Like this made me feel a little bit like a Marvel kid again, just a little bit. So let's see where it goes. Absolutely. Also, a Secret Empire tie-in, Amazing Spider-Man, and in my opinion, number 31, by the way, written by Dan Slott, artwork by Stuart Immonen, who is doing a fantastic job. Both of them, Slott and Immonen, are doing amazing jobs on Amazing Spider-Man. This issue concludes its Secret Empire tie-in where Octavius is coming after Parker Industries with everything he's got, trying to take it over. It's a last-ditch effort from Parker trying to save what he can, including New York. This is taking place as Hydra is taking over. This, by far, is the best tie-in to Secret Empire that I have read. I have loved Amazing Spider-Man this whole time of this post-Secret Wars, Iron Man, Tony Stark-esque Peter Parker. I've dug it. I loved it. We knew it was nearing an end. Does the end get nearer in this issue? Possibly. The Marvel Legacy story is called The Fall of Parker, right? But I love this book. I think it's great. Spider-Man's just such a cool character, and it's such a fun book in Dan Slott's hands. And great artwork here, and just explosive action. It's really, really cool. Christopher Priest and Phil Noto bring us Inhumans, Once and Future Kings. Kind of monopolizing, playing up on the Inhumans TV show coming out very, very soon from ABC, which is getting abysmal reviews, absolutely. The trailers have not impressed me, but I shall see it and judge it for myself. But this was actually pretty cool. Kind of Game of Thrones up the Inhumans just a little bit. So that's kind of, I don't know, I guess that's all right. Because the story doesn't come across too parody-ish or too silly or anything like that. It actually works, and it's pretty good script. It's a nice, tight script by Christopher Priest. If you don't know much about the past of the Inhumans and you're interested, you definitely might want to check this out. Artwork by Phil Noto is great. I love Noto's artwork. He's a cool guy, so this book's all right. It's not the greatest thing, but if you're really interested in the Inhumans, this is one of the best ones that they've had in a long time. So, there you go. It's telling the story of a young Black Bolt, Maximus, and Medusa, and how they became the royal family, I guess. So there you go. Defenders number 4 is out this week. Defenders has been an amazing book. The best Brian Michael Bendis book that I have read in a long time. I love this stuff. It takes me back to those days when he first was doing Daredevil and first time he was doing Powers, when I first discovering, even before that, first discovering stuff like Jinx and Goldfish. Takes me back to those days. I really like the way he's structuring this story. Really like his script. The artwork by David Marquez is really good. There's something off about this. I don't know if it's rushed, if it's inked a little less delicately, or maybe, I don't know. There's something up with the artwork in here. At first I was like, did they change the coloring, or is somebody inking it, or I don't know. But something is off, but it's still good, it's still solid. But there's something weird about the artwork in here. It's not as good as the quality of 1, 2, or 3. Seems like maybe it was a little rushed, but it's still very, very solid. Great colors by Justin Ponsor. I love the way he uses these colors that are just so, you really wouldn't use them together typically, but the just bold choice of colors. And it works so well, adds a lot of nice, colorful contrast to the book. I just adore this book. It's so cool. This kind of wraps up something, but doesn't. I don't know, sometimes Bendis stories seem to just kind of meander about and keep going and going, but this definitely has an ending and a beginning for a future issue. So it's a great, typical superhero comic book ongoing subplot type story system. So there you go. Defenders is amazing. Let's hope the TV show is as good as the comic book, for sure. Hulk number 9 is out this week. I've been loving what Tamaki has been doing on the Hulk. Great stuff, dealing with coming out of trauma, coming out of a horrible experience, and dealing with what that does to your soul and to your mind and even to your body. She's gone through some changes, Jennifer Walters has. She's a more savage She-Hulk now. I've loved this book. This story is really cool. The artwork is different than the artist from the first story arc. That art was way more suited to the tone of this book. It gets a little cheesy looking at times when she hulks out in this issue, but overall I like the story. It's solid, and yet another awesome chapter in the adventures of Jennifer Walters' Hulk. Venom number 153 concludes this Land Before Crime story that guest stars Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. So it's cool to see Devil Dinosaur and Moon Girl during Kirby month, because he was a creator of Moon Boy and Devil Dinosaur. So that's awesome. But why am I reading this Venom book? Because I really want to like it. I really want to enjoy it, especially now that Eddie Brock is back. But I cannot stand this book. I just do not like it. I think the script is trite. I think it's just silly. I think it's elementary. I think the artwork is very sloppy. At times it can be okay. Overall, I think Sandoval's Venom looks a little too goofy for me. I don't know. Not really that hyped for it, but I'm going to maybe keep reading it because Lethal Protector is coming up for Marvel Legacy, right? That's how they get us Venom fans. That's how they get us. Nostalgia. Edge of Venomverse number 4, another Venom comic that just kind of lackluster. Didn't really like it that much. These Edge of Venomverse stories, they've been okay, and it's neat, some of the concepts. This is Old Man Logan Venom, and of course you can kind of piece together maybe how he gets his symbiote or whatever, but I don't know. It's all right. Nothing to write home to mom about, but it's decent. It's okay. It's a fun little what if, especially if you're a huge Old Man Logan fan or a Venom fan, especially if you're both. But if you want to save $4, I can't tell you that you should spend it on here. So there you go. Old Man Logan, however, is actually doing really good. Written by Ed Bryson now. Mike Deodato Jr. on the artwork. 27 is out this week. Continues the story. It does still deal a little too much with the alternate timeline past of Old Man Logan. I would like to see the character freed from that if he's still going to continue to exist in the Marvel Universe as our Wolverine placeholder. I would like them to disconnect it. Maybe this is the final way. I don't know. Everybody likes the story with the Maestro Hulk, though, so that's kind of cool. The artwork's actually really, really solid, especially for Mike Deodato Jr. The script's pretty good. I really like this book. Is it as good as the Jeff Lemire stuff? I don't know. It has more action, for sure, or at least the action comes across a little bit better. I don't know. I don't know if it's as good, but it's fun, and it's fun in a very 90s Wolverine kind of way, even though it's Old Man Logan. So there you go. Justice League Power Rangers number 5. What? This book's been MIA forever. Was it worth the wait? No, not particularly. This book is really only good if you're a super hardcore Power Rangers fan or the most hardcore Justice League fan where you absolutely have to have everything Justice League. It's all right. Power Rangers fans are going to chuckle here and there. It's nice. It's got some nods. It's all right, though. Why the delay? Was it the art? Was it the script? Can't be the script. Maybe the art. The art's not as good as it typically was. I don't know. Let's just wrap this thing up and move on, right? Because Go-Go Power Rangers is out right now, and that one was awesome. That one was awesome. But this one's okay. I mean, it's not bad. It's just, it's not going to impress you if you're not a Power Rangers fan. I'll tell you that one, for sure. Flash number 28 is here, and finally, Carmine Dijon-Domenico is back on the artwork, and it's exhilarating. I love this guy on the Flash. It's perfect, I love it. But this is the Negative Flash story. Now, as a result of the last issue, Barry's been infused with the negative Speed Force energy, and his powers are weird and different and more destructive, and he's dealing with that. And I made a little comment saying that, like, if this was a Marvel book, it would be called the Superior Flash. Do you get what I'm saying? So he's more angry, he's more or whatever. But the story's all right. The artwork is amazingly brilliant in here. Good stuff in the Flash. Flash has been a really cool, solid book, though I think they've mishandled Reverse Flash over the last few issues since the button. They've misused them just a little bit, or maybe just some unfortunate weird things that just, I don't know, it just seems a little too much too soon. But this book is all right. It's kind of interesting to see the Flash see Barry deal with the Flash's powers being a whole lot more destructive and a whole lot more taxing on him physically and mentally. So that's actually kind of really cool. It's almost like a superior rage Flash. So there you go. That's pretty neat. Detective Comics 962, an amazing book by Lord James Tynion IV. I love saying his name like that for some reason. If I was that dude, I would say my name like that everywhere I went. But Detective Comics 962 wraps up this intelligence story, very Azrael-centered. And right here, you see it. You got Azrael in the 90s Nightfall, Night's End, Night's Quest type costume. Nice bit of nostalgia there. Really, guys, thank you so much for that. The artwork by Martinez is really, really good and solid. This has been my favorite Bat book. Absolutely, I love it. It just juggles Batman, his deal and his drama with everybody else around him. Batwing, Batwoman, Orphan, or the former old Batgirl from back in the day, Cassandra Cain. What do we call her now? Is it still, I don't think we're Cassandra, so there you go. Really great stuff. This Azrael story has been really, really fun, and a big moment that fans of this series have been waiting for happens in this issue, and that's really, really cool. Really, really, really cool. Detective Comics has been, like I said, my favorite Batman book. It is more of a Bat family type book. Tom King and Batman, the solo title, is dealing with more of Batman as a single character, a single entity. But Detective Comics is just so dang fun. I just absolutely love it. Action Comics 985 is out this week. And typically I've been loving the Superman books. I've been loving Action Comics. It delivers on what it promises. And yes, there's a lot of action in here. It focuses a lot on the kind of weird relationship, new relationship that Lex has now with Superman. It deals with that a little bit. What's his name? Jillian March does the artwork. It feels a little rushed and sloppy and awkward and weird and disproportionate. I didn't really like it that much. Didn't do much for me artistically. The story was just kind of all right and a little thin as well. They are building up to the Oz effect, where they're going to reveal who Mr. Oz is. And I think I already know, but I won't spoil it for you. I'm pretty sure I know. You can go do some Google searches. A lot of people have figured this out, they believe. But it's not the best issue of Action Comics, absolutely. Written by Dan Jurgens. And, you know, I read an article saying that DC Rebirth has really taken Lois Lane and turned her into a stronger character. And I get it, what they're trying to say, but she has been a strong character like this before, but they have taken it more progressively forward. And Lois Lane is a giant spotlight in the new Superman comics that I haven't really talked about too much, to my fault, absolutely. But that stuff, Lois has been amazing. She's now a mother, but she's still a journalist. She's still out for justice. She still supports Superman. She still has her own agenda, her own purpose. Lois Lane is a very well-rounded character these days, and she shines brilliantly in the Superman books right now. So let's move on to some other publishers, not just Marvel and DC. We got Redlands #1 here from Image Comics. This book was a treat. This book was really, really cool. Colorist extraordinaire Jordi Belair, that rhymed, that's really cool, wrote this book called Redlands with artwork by Vanessa Del Rey. It was phenomenal, brilliant, and of course Jordi colors this as well. I loved it. Really, really good horror comic. Lots of anger and rage and pent-up frustration at society comes out in this book, and I just love it. I think it's amazing. The little coda at the end, the little thing, the little blurbs where they start talking, the creators start talking about who this book is for, why they wrote this book. Loved it. The artwork was amazing with colors by Jordi. Really scary, really creepy, lots of black, lots of sketchy, unclear lines that really fits the tone of this story. I loved it. It was a great setup issue, and I'm super pumped to read more. Get your hands on Redlands. That's the Image book of the week right there. Excuse me. Donny Cates writer of fan favorite God Country, one of my favorite books of the year so far, God Country. Babyteeth, number 3, is out this week. Babyteeth is kind of like your baby's the Antichrist and you're on the run, and it's the story of that, right? So it's a poor young woman who has just given birth to possibly the Antichrist or some kind of devil baby or whatever. It sprouts fangs, it drinks blood, and it must be her blood? Oh, how creepy. How messed up of a situation that might be. It's not Cates' best work so far. With what little I can gauge on God Country and Redneck, this I don't think is at that level. It might get there, but it's not a bad comic book. It's really good. It's got great artwork by Gary Brown. It's doable. It's fun. It's exposition-y. It's a little exposition-y at times because she's telling the story to her baby in the future, and it's a flashback. It's weird. The technique of telling the story is the only fault that I find with this book. I do like it otherwise. Really great colors, and there was this really cool like demon, devil, raccoon thing in this book that's adorable, and they should make action figures of that, and maybe even t-shirts. So there you go. Also from Image Comics, we got Sacred Creatures, number 2, on a very light week last month or 2 months ago. Number 1 made my pick of the week. Number 2 was good, not as solid as number 1, but it was very good. A great script, really good dialogue, solid dialogue in here. Good artwork, a little stiff at times, just a little bit, not nothing like that will take you out of the book or nothing. Some unfortunate decisions in the artwork. Overall though, a pretty decent comic book, pretty solid, delivers on the setup from issue 1, explains a lot about what's going on. It's pretty much exactly what you thought was going on, especially with a title like Sacred Creatures. They're angels, but they really get into the certain level of angels they are, and there's some interesting little politics there. So if you like Sacred Creatures number 1, you'll like number 2. It won't let you down, absolutely. Wicked and the Divine, number 30. Things are kind of heating up here, or are they? They got a lot of drama going on in this one, a lot of interpersonal drama, but that's cool because there's a lot of interpersonal drama with these gods in Wicked and the Divine. If you do not read this book, it's definitely worth giving it a shot. I really like it. I think it's a really fun, great book from Kieran Gillen and Jamie McKelvey. The artwork is always top-notch and superb, including the coloring by Matt Wilson, who I just want to congratulate on winning the Eisner Award this year for Best Colorist. Absolutely, you deserve it, homie. Your stuff is bright. It glows. It glows. It's like, does this have batteries in it? Like, does this require batteries? I feel like you're gonna have to change the batteries in every issue of Wicked and Divine every few years to get the same color. I mean, it's electric. It's so good. It's absolutely great. Hellboy in the BPRD 1955. It's a one-shot called Secret Nature. What's really cool about this one is Sean Martinborough does the artwork. I really like this cat's artwork ever since the Detective Comics days with Greg Rucka back post No Man's Land in like 2000. Really good stuff. Love his artwork. Really excited to see him tackle Hellboy. He did not let me down. Perfectly suited for the Mignolaverse, for this world that Mike Mignola has created. A great little story. If you've never read a Hellboy book, or if you just want something cool and kind of creepy, read this. It's really fun, really light, really digestible, really good. Hellboy is one of my absolute favorite comic books, and basically the overall huge mythology of it is over, but we kind of get these little tidbits of stories throughout the past because there's plenty of room littered throughout the decades of Hellboy's history to explore in. And I love that they are doing these stories. I love that Hellboy is still alive, at least in our hearts, right? So there you go. And the final one I want to talk about is Mighty Mouse. Mighty Mouse number 3. This book is really good. You're going to look at it, you're going to think, oh, that's like a kiddie book, it's like a cartoon book. No. This book is awesome. It's amazing. Mighty Mouse in the real world. Okay, so there's this kid and he's bullied all the time. Mighty Mouse jumps out of his TV and comes into the real world. However, he's now no longer in Cartoon Land, and Cartoon Land's being overrun by bad guys. This is actually really fun. Very cleverly written by Shali Fish. I like it. Great artwork by Igor Lima, something like that. But I really like this book, and it's worth it to check it out, especially if you grew up a Mighty Mouse fan. You may be expecting like a cartoon, and that character is in here, but this is a real-world story, and it's pretty cool, and it almost seems like it's like a rejected 90s, movie script. Absolutely. But it works. It works in the comic books today. It really does. I like it. So there you go. That's what I read this week. That's what I thought about it. Let me know down in the comments below, what did you read? What did you love? And especially, what did you think of Mr. Miracle? Because Mr. Miracle number 1, so good. So good. Darkseid is so good. Absolutely. So thank you guys so much for checking out the video. Please do check us out at popculturephilosophers.com for podcasts, blogs, top 5 lists, and a whole lot more. Please do like and share this video and subscribe. I do this every week, and sometimes a weekly pop culture wrap-up. Didn't do one this last week. Was feeling under the weather. Not a lot of news to report on. There will be one this week, though. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us, and keep on reading.